They're hearing everything about Cam. They've watched him play, I'm sure, in college, but now they're going to say, can he do it on this level? Because you start all over again when you get to this level. So that's what he's got to go through and earn that respect from his teammates. And once they feel like they have a guy that they think they can win with, that's when their game starts to go up another level.
What'd you think of that? Excuse me. Yeah, what'd you think of that phone call when he calls you and asks you?
That's not the first time I've been called for that number, but I turned it down other times. But I mean, his phone call was different because he's a quarterback, for one. For two, I have not a history with him, but I know who he is from where he comes from, right down the road in Houston, so there's some similarities there. Played at Washington State, which is the rival of my university, the University of Washington. So I've watched him play over the last 3 or 4 years, and I just have a lot of respect for him as a player and what he's been able to do. And then I've heard comments from a lot of other people about his leadership qualities and all those different things. So it was easy for me to. Well, it wasn't easy because when you start thinking about your legacy and the things that you established when you were playing, you want to make sure those things continue. And as I looked at it, I'm saying, well, I was a Houston Oiler back then, so it's a Houston Oiler jersey that I played in. He's playing in a Tennessee Titans jersey, even though we're all part of the same organization. But nobody's ever worn that number for the Tennessee Titans. So he has a chance to create a great legacy for that number with this organization, where I did mine with the Houston organization, even though we're all part of the same family.
So what was his approach? How was his tone as he approached you? Because obviously he wasn't shy about it.
No, he wasn't. He came right out. I mean, as soon as he got on the phone, he said, hey, I want to talk to you about being able to wear that number 1. And it kind of took me back a little bit because I didn't expect that call. But I told him that I would think about it, and he gave me the time to think about it. And I wanted to talk to Amy about it as well to see where she was on it, because I knew she was involved in some of the other asks before. So I gave her that respect, and she gave me the time that I needed. So I think when I started thinking about the fact that it wasn't just the jersey that I wore when I played, that made it a little bit easier. Now, if I was with one organization, let me give you an example. Roger Staubach played for the Dallas Cowboys for his whole career. If it was that situation, I probably wouldn't have gave the number up. But because this is a little bit different situation, 2 different uniforms, not so much different organizations, but different cities, different fan bases, that made it a little bit easier for me to do.
When did you decide?
I decided about a day and a half ago.
So when I talked to you earlier this week,
I lied
you said
to
you were
you.
thinking about it. You had decided.
No, I hadn't decided.
You had not decided.
No, I had not
Did
decided.
the players who asked previously turn out to be good players that inquired about the one before?
Yes, but one's not here anymore.
The decision to where the Oilers uniforms are not going to be in circulation this year, so that is independent of this move as well.
Yeah, that definitely had something to do with it, and we don't know if they're going to ever be worn again. You just never know. So they have, I think, new uniforms coming out that are very similar, so there might not even be a reason to wear the Oiler uniforms again.
How much pride do you think you will feel watching Cam wear that 1?
I feel proud. Again, it's a number that I wore for a lot of different reasons that were personal to me. I think I wore it at a very high level, and it's been out of circulation now since I left in 94. So that's almost 30 years that nobody's worn that number. So for it to be revived again from a kid that I have a lot of respect for, I have no problem with that. I'm excited to see what he does with it.
Having
You
gone through
allowed
that
Gary
process
Anderson
of
to
having
wear
a
it, right?
franchise on your shoulders, like you've been through that. What's the advice that you would give to this young man who's going to have that same pressure?
I think the big thing is just to come here and be humble, to let his teammates see that he is a guy that they can approach, that he's not going to be standoffish, that he's not going to be a first overall pick guy that's going to be to himself, where there's some other quarterbacks that have done that. You want to be able to give of yourself. You got to be able to give a little bit of yourself to each and every position on the football team. And I think the more he does that, and then also shows his work ethic and things, this team will start to have a lot more respect for him, because veterans veterans can tell if you can play within the first few days they watch you on the field. You know, once they see if he can play or not, then it's just up to him to keep that same work ethic going, getting better every day, and just improving the confidence that his teammates will have in him every time he goes out on the field. That hey, we have a chance to win with this guy. So all I got to do is do what I'm supposed to do, and if I do what I'm supposed to do, and everybody else thinks the same way, then we have a chance to win. That's what a franchise quarterback gives you. He gives you hope every time you go out there that you have a chance to win. There's not a lot of teams that have those type of guys, but there are a lot of teams that do, and that's why they win consistently.